Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I'm going to answer a question: is the Shield X a better choice for concealed carry than the Shield Plus? Both of course are Smith & Wesson and they're both chambered in 9mm. So let's go ahead and start with looking at the newcomer on the block, the Shield X. So the Shield X flush magazine is 13 rounds and the extended magazine is 15 rounds. If I put the flush magazine in it, I get pretty much a full three-finger grip. Maybe there's a little finger hanging off, but for everything that counts, it's a full three-finger grip. Deep beaver tail, can's way up in there. I'm not going to get slide bit. Flat-ish trigger. It's not a full flatty where it's perfectly square, but it's close enough. I would call this a flat face trigger. Front rear serration is very pronounced, easy to get to, and a Picatinny rail, and overall pretty good ergonomics. Both of these guns have the inertial toggle on the trigger. Both of these guns have available with or without a thumb safety, and there's about 3 variations of the Shield X. Both of these are available in 10-round state-compliant versions as well as the ones with larger capacity. So from that standpoint, they're both fundamentally the same. The Shield X has a night sight at the front, so it's got a tritium vial and it's got a ring on it, so it's easy to see. It does have blackout rear sights, which I'm not a huge fan of, but the front sight's actually quite easy to see and quite good, and it is a night sight. So we'll put him down and go look at the Shield Plus, which was both of these fit into that micro compact territory, even though both of these are starting to get on the larger side of that micro compact territory. The Shield Plus does have front and rear serrations, but the front serrations are very small. If you got strong enough hands that you can get to them, but if you've got a little bit of strength issues with your hands, then you're going to have a hard time getting them holding of them enough. And notice no Picatinny rail. That can be an issue. That's one of the major advantages that the Shield X brings in, is a Picatinny rail, so that you're not bound to finding trigger guard things that work. Pretty much any lights or lasers will work. This has not got a thumb safety on this version of the Shield Plus, but it is available with a thumb safety. And there's about 24 variants of this. One that's in my hand is not optics ready, but the majority of the variants of it are. This is one of the really early ones. So as far as optics ready, you could get the Shield Plus in optics ready. Most of the variations you're going to see will have that. And this one is 3-dot white sights. And there's a couple different variations of sights available on it. I like the sights on this one better, even though the Shield X has a night sight, because I like the 3-dot sights, real clear, real easy to see. The flattish trigger and inertial toggle, and again I mentioned the thumb safety is available. Both of these are decent looking guns, but they are kind of on the utilitarian side. They're more of getting a job done. They're a tool for self-defense. They're not ornate or fancy, but they look nice. They're styled well, and they do have good ergonomics. Now if I move to the original Shield Plus, it's a 2 and maybe a 1/4 finger grip. Does have not quite as pronounced a beaver tail, but still enough of a beaver tail that you're not going to get slide bit. But your pinky is kind of barely hanging on there. This flush magazine is a 10-round magazine. Then I can go to the extended magazine that's 13 rounds. If I do that, now I've got pretty much a full 3-finger grip. And then there is a 15-round magazine that kind of hangs down at that point, full 3-finger grip. And on both of these, with the magazine extensions, they blend well with the grip, and I have not gotten pinched by the gap on any of these. So they don't tend to pinch at the range. So at this point, you're probably thinking, well, it's obvious, the Shield X. I mean, it's got all these extra things, and it's the same size. Well, that's the key. It's not. So I'm going to put their each one of them, I'm going to put their flush magazines in, and I'm going to set them up on their ends. And you can see that the Shield X is noticeably taller. 4.9 inches tall for the height of the body, and 4.6 for the Shield Plus. So Shield Plus, it's kind of on the edge of pocket gun territory, and this one kind of probably crosses over the line. The Shield X is probably kind of outside that territory. From a length perspective, when I line them up beaver tail to beaver tail, including the beaver tail, the Shield X is noticeably longer, 6.87 versus 6.1. And that comes with a longer barrel, 3.6 inch in the Shield X versus 3.1 in the Shield Plus. So the Shield X is a bigger gun, kind of plain and simple, except for thickness. And the difference is small enough that it's kind of hard to see it here. But the Shield X is 0.9 inches thick, and the Shield Plus is 1.1. So what they did when they made the grip longer to get that same capacity in the grip, they were able to make the gun a little bit thinner, still get the capacity with the longer length. And the other thing they did, and I did this on the full review of the Shield X, the grip from front to back is a little bit thinner this way, and it's also thinner this way. So overall, it's a bit smaller grip, and it kind of fits in the hand kind of nice. So what you're getting is a noticeably more capacity in the basic same footprint, but lots of other features to go with it. The only other thing that you might think is that being bigger, the Shield X would be massively heavier. It is heavier at 20.7 or 20.8 ounces, but not hugely bigger. This is 20.1, so it's 0.7 ounces heavier for the Shield X than the Shield Plus. So it did pick up a little weight, but not a huge amount. And a lot of that's probably by getting rid of metal, making the slide thinner, you're able to kind of offset the weight of the bigger body of it. Overall, I found both of these to be reliable. They're both easy to shoot well. They're both pleasant to shoot. They are both good size for concealed carry. And like the micro compacts that are out there today, they have better capacity than you've had in the past with this type of gun. The Shield X kind of takes it up a notch. From a cost perspective, the starting price for the Shield Plus is $549 MSRP. The starting price for the Shield X is $599 MSRP, so it went up about $50 in the base price. Now, I will say that the Shield Plus, there's multiple variants. As I mentioned, there's about 24 variants. A couple of those variants are Performance Center. So the top of the range pricing on the Shield Plus from an MSRP perspective is $889. They do go up higher, but if you're just looking for the basics, I need a concealed carry gun. I don't need all of the fanciness, the fancy finishes, and Performance Center tuning, and you're just trying to do apples to apples between these, you're looking at about a $50 delta for the additional features of the Shield X. So it comes kind of around back to the question I asked at the beginning that I said I was going to answer. Which one of these would I pick? Is the Shield X better enough over the Shield Plus to make it worth it and to make it a better choice for concealed carry? And in my opinion, the answer is yes. I would choose the Shield X over the Shield Plus in most cases. If I'm going to put a pocket gun, I'm probably going to choose something like a Hellcat that's kind of a little bit smaller. So you kind of pocket carry this. This is starting to get on the edge of it. But when I'm inside the waistband, it's thinner. I get a little more capacity. I've got better front serrations. I pick up a Picatinny rail. All of those factors factored in for a difference of $50 MSRP. And of course, when you find these out there, you're probably going to find them closer to the same price. You know, MSRP isn't what you're going to pay in most cases. I would say overall, the Shield X is probably going to be the better choice of these two for concealed carry. If you choose the other one, you're not necessarily going wrong, but my personal opinion, I'd go with this guy. In the end, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe. We're still on Facebook and Instagram and Rumble. Of course, Players Nevermore. But beyond that, thank you.
Excellent.